Hey everyone. Trish is here. She is canning right now.
No, I'm not. That
No,
was
I'm
my
not.
timer. That was my timer. I'm good now. I can shut it off. Hello. Hi. Okay.
Yeah. Just waiting on her.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk amongst
I'll be there
yourselves.
shortly. I'll be there shortly.
I hope everyone has their coffee. I saw someone's going to a football game. I saw that. Hello, Larry from Texas. Hi, Cynthia. Canadian cabin girl, how are you? Hi, Stormy Ridge. Hi, Leaping Preps. How are you?
Great. Now we're going to talk and walk.
Oh, boy.
Yes, I can do both. Some days I wonder about that, but I can do both.
Sometimes I can barely walk and chew gum at the same time.
Yeah, that I've ruled out.
Hi, Janet. Hi, Ashley. TRK, how are you? Hi, Ruth. Hi, RJB6766. Hey, Dawn. Hi, Sylvie. So today was a day. That video that I uploaded today for you guys, it took 2 hours for them to approve it. So they're really watching me like a hawk. Big
I am
time.
not surprised.
Yeah.
Did they finally approve it though?
Oh yeah, after 2 hours, yeah.
Well, that's actually surprising that they did it.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Hey, Mama. Trish, Dawn says, tell Trish I said hi and that she's awesome.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. What? Oh, coffee. Coffee.
Coffee, yes,
It should
coffee.
be
Hey,
the
Steph,
answer.
how are ya? Jennifer Lynn, how are ya? Well, thank you for being here, Jennifer Lynn. I appreciate you. Hi, Terry. I'm glad everyone is here.
Yeah, forgive me for being late. I was doing canning and I had the last 10 minutes to still do. And as you know, doing canning, you cannot stop until it is done.
Oh, no.
So now it is done. And I just wanted to show you, to confirm for you, Andrew now has 2 packs of gummy worms.
You're crazy.
Plus 2
I'm
things
going to have
of
to tell him that in a letter.
plus 2 things of Swedish fish. So I am making an Andrew bag. Just so you know.
She is getting a care package ready for my son, who's in boot camp. So.
Yes, but I am not buying 100 packs for the whole platoon, okay? Not doing that.
Please don't. No.
This is just for Andrew for when he comes home, so he has a stash. That's all.
Yeah, that was my crazy idea to buy 61 bags of cough drops to send to the entire platoon.
Yeah, no, I'm not doing that.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Oh.
Hi,
So
Lucy from Jersey.
I took last week's questions. There are more, so at some point tonight we can do those as well.
Right
There were-
on.
There were more from that they put on video number 1, and
Yeah.
I think I grabbed a few
Okay.
just because, you know.
Right on. Yeah, a lot has happened over the past week that I feel we should address. Last night, I had gotten a text message from a subscriber.
Yeah.
She lives about, I want to say 80 miles outside of Milwaukee.
Okay.
No, sorry. Where it's all happening with George Floyd and the Derek Chauvin case. Where's that? Minnesota. But where in Minnesota? I can't remember.
I don't even know where.
That's terrible. Anyway, she got a hold of me and she said that the tornado sirens were going off last night. And she said it was very strange because there was no tornadoes in the area. And she said she didn't know if they were doing like a test run, but she said that the test run are always done in the beginning of the month. Now we're in the middle of the month. And then she said that on the weather radio came the presidential address, and that text messages were going off, like the presidential text messages. So she got a hold of me and said, did your tornado warnings go off? And did the presidential address come over your weather radio? And I said, no. So I tried to get a hold of her all night. I couldn't get a hold of her. And finally, I talked to her this morning for about an hour and a half to make sure she was okay.
Mm.
So why is it going on up there and it didn't happen down here? Did anybody else experience this last night at about 9:30?
No, not me. It's the first I've heard of it.
Right. It's very strange.
Hmm.
Very
so
strange.
What kind of presidential message was it?
My fellow Americans type thing.
From presidential address, but was that his voice?
Yeah, it was him. Yeah.
Oh. Was it because they declared a state of emergency yesterday?
Yes.
That's okay. So it's not about a tornado.
Right. But how come I didn't get it? How come you didn't get it? All of these people in the chat saying, no, no, no. How come they didn't get it? But she got it.
That's a good question. I knew about it a different way. With regard to anything else, I had to actually look it up on the internet to confirm it. And then I went back to somebody else to confirm it as well, that there was a presidential address. But did I get it to my phone? No, I got no alerts whatsoever.
Right.
And I have my alert thing on. So not only that, I have like 7 cell phones here because I trade for a lot of people. So it should have gone to one of the phones, if not mine.
Right. Because then I had gotten a hold of Sean. And I said, Sean, I said, did you hear about the, because I told him, about the conversation that I had and everything. And he said, that recording should not go off at all until we are in a major, something is seriously going to happen.
Correct.
And I said, well, I'm telling you what she told me. And he said, oh my God. He said, something's going down. And I said, I don't know.
And I told you what I know. So I know something's going down. There's no question in my mind about that. But that alert is not other than, yes, I knew that he was declaring a state of emergency, but I had not heard it on a phone alert at all.
She got it on her weather radio and on the phone.
I'm wondering what service she has. I mean, I have Verizon. I'm wondering if Verizon blocked it.
I don't know. I've got T-Mobile and I didn't get it.
So when you're talking to her next or whatever, just ask, what service do you have? Because that might help to know. I mean, maybe it doesn't, but.
Okay, so Mama, you said as of today, we are DEFCON 3 yellow. Trish?
Yeah, it's not a shock.
Cyan, G2. What's G2, Cyan? So, I mean, there's a lot of what's really going on here. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm going to tell you?
Speak it. Speak your truth, man. I mean, that's what I am so tired of being told to shut up. I really am. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, people don't tell me that too often because I don't listen anyway. Not to that.
I'm the one with the channel. I'm always getting told to shut up.
Yeah, no, I get louder. I'm not that way.
Oh, okay. Cyan, okay, said DEFCON 4 2 days ago, but now we're at DEFCON 3, Mama said. So now we're at DEFCON 3 yellow. And what does that mean? CB wants to know. See, Sean would know that because he works for Homeland Security, but I don't.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're yellow, it's somewhat okay, but the closer we get to 2 is not good.
Shit.
Anyway, wow. Okay, I wasn't gonna go there. Wow. So I got a list. Well, I gotta think of how to say this.
Big caution before SHTF2.
Yeah.
Hey, Ma. Asking Maureen to protect Trish.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a list a while back that isn't even one I've told you yet. And quite honestly, I was just hoping that I'm praying that this would not come about. But as we all know, there's been enough people out there that have put this information out. And then have just really gone quiet. I'm gonna do what I can here. So for those people that have not been on to any of our other videos or any of other Autumn's videos, please check them out because I don't want to have to recap it all here. And it would be tough to do. So what I will tell you seems like, well, that really can't happen, or, well, I haven't heard of it on the news, or, well, there's nobody else really talking about it, or maybe there is, but it's not a lot. There's kind of a reason why nobody really wants to touch this. But we can either touch it and let you know about it so that you can, well, you'll know about it. Can you really prepare for this? Not really. Neither can I. Do the best we can in the time frame. What is the time frame? I can't even answer what the time frame is. I can tell you I believe it's the end of April.
Right. And we discussed this last Friday as well.
Yeah. So check out last Friday's video and the ones in between, because the targets are listed in one of those videos. I believe the title is 15 targets. But there are others. And I haven't wanted to say it because the reason for them is obvious from my end. For you guys, you might have to look it up if you're not familiar with this. But there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, yeah, 12 regional banks within the United States. And all 12 of those regional banks would be targets. Why? If they're looking to really hurt the United States, and not necessarily the people, but really hurt the nation, that's what they do. Because it would shut down any form of monetary system, whether it be e-commerce, whether it be actual trade of dollars.
Trish, hang on. Marbury is afraid that you're going to jeopardize yourself.
Yep. I knew by taking this platform that that's a possibility. And yet I'm here.
Heard you loud and clear, Ma. No worries.
So, with that said,
I saw it. I saw it, Mom. Thanks. I saw it.
thank you.
Yeah.
I'm going to just say the cities. This does not require an uploaded video, though you can do it later if you choose. Goodbye. Right? So, we all know there's an issue on another part of this planet that begins with a U. And that could have a ripple effect across the board. And if it has a ripple effect, there would be certain targets.
Yeah.
The targets are regional banks.
I talked about this. I talked about, and I pointed them out, and I said about 15 of them.
Yes, but those are along the eastern seacoast.
Right. Right. But I had to be careful. I had, you know me, I have to be very careful with everything that I say and do.
Yep. So these are not those. These are different.
These are more.
Yeah, sorry, I don't know if you can tell, but I got messages coming across my phone. Yes, these are regional banks. These are not that list. I told you I had another list that I did not give you, and I did not give it to you because I didn't want you to do a video on this. until I confirmed it at least. And I have had this for months, probably since last August. And that's pretty telling because last August was way before what? November, right?
Yeah.
So as I've told you all along, in each thing I've sent you, it's been a plan all along.
Yeah, Hellboy, guess what? Jericho, I know. Remember the show Jericho with Skeet Ulrich, and it was only on for what, 3 seasons, I think it was?
I never saw it.
Oh boy, is it good? Is it still on Netflix? If you can watch it, watch it. Kind of like exactly what's in the books 1 second after.
Oh,
Yeah.
so regional banks would be the way to actually hurt the United States. That would be the way to do it. You know, and I've played this out in my own head. I've thought about it, and it's like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. If that's what they're trying to do, they're not trying to hurt the people, but they want to take down a nation, or you want to make them pay for. And isn't that what part of what he said was that the U.S. would have to pay for its handling of or meddling with the Ukraine. So I'm just gonna tell you the names of the cities in which the regional banks are. All right.
If you feel that you are comfortable with that, I cannot stop you. That's all I have to say.
Just where the banks are located, you can Google search them yourself.
Okay.
Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Massachusetts, New York, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami, Houston, Texas, San Francisco, so with that and the 15 on the eastern seacoast, which are not regional banks, but are targets for different reasons. If you put them on a map of the United States, and then you step back and look at it, you will realize that it covers the nation.
Missy French, thank you, sweetheart, but you do not have to do that, okay? I appreciate you and your donation, but thank you. You don't have to do that, okay? But thank you. You be safe as well. Wow.
So, other people have told me in their credible sources that they would add one to the list. And it would be Valdez, Alaska. That is because of oil and oil only.
Oh.
So, you know, here I am saying to myself, okay, what do I say? How do I do this? None of us can really prevent what could happen. There is no way to really dodge this. I'd love to say we could. But none of us really control that, right? None of us do. We're here. And
Stephanie has a question. She would like to know if these cities will be BOMB.
I cannot tell you that. I can tell you that they are cities where a regional bank is. And those regional banks, if someone wanted to hurt this nation, to hurt a regional bank area, would be what they would do. And since I know that this is planned and planned well, and since I know that this is to also usher in a new system, that would be what they would do.
My God.
The eastern seacoast, well, I mean, part of it is included as well, right? Still Miami, it's still New York, it's still Boston, it's still a few of those. So it's an all-in-one kind of deal.
Right.
But it spread throughout. Quite honestly, I look at the list and I go, yeah, but one thing, just one thing actually does it, an EMP. One thing does it all. An EMP is the only thing that's actually needed to do anything, because an EMP would shut it all down anyway.
Leaping Preps. Really? She said, my husband is a Marine, so is my son. And he said, if we get attacked, it'll be coming through Canada.
Yeah, Winnipeg. That is where they are doing cold weather training right now. And that alone is pretty scary, because where Winnipeg is, right above, what is it, Minnesota, right? Right above Minnesota? Minnesota or Michigan, I forget now. Not in my head. But it's right there. It's right along the border. And the problem with that is it's not the Russians. That's the Chinese. And they are the ones doing cold weather training in Winnipeg, Canada. It's still cold there a little bit, but they've been doing it for the last 4 months. And Canada is letting them. So,
how about this one? No telling who has entered this country in the past months or from where. We have busted them all over the country. Yeah, Missy. And they just keep, and now after what we found out last Friday, I believe it was Cyan that said New York is giving them $15,000 for stimulus, plus $1,500 for EBT.
Yeah.
Of course, we've
known about that for a while. That was part of the last stimulus, though.
Right.
That was part of it.
But that's only in New York. I mean, it's.
I won't say it's only within New York. So there is not a lot of light at the end of this tunnel. I'm doing what I can here, but this is pretty difficult. I mean, this has had my stomach in knots for weeks and weeks now, and
Oh,
each
yeah,
day
mine
it
too.
goes, it gets worse.
And it's like
So,
you just can't
you know,
feel like you're not doing enough. I feel like I'm not doing enough. What else can I do? What?
well, there's nothing that we can do with regard to this. There is zero that we can do with regard to this, and I mean literally zero. All we can do on our end is pray it doesn't hit us and prep to the rafters. That is all we can do. This is totally out of our control. Um, you know, this is not good. And a particular person in the White House wanted to set up a summit with Putin, and Putin flat out rejected it. Absolutely not. Won't do it. Won't even talk, won't discuss it, won't do anything. And the reason for that is because he knows what he's going to be asked.
Yeah.
And he's not interested. No, the answer is no. And, you know, the videos that you've done recently in the last 2 weeks, they're not wrong. They're just not wrong. When you got a group of people flying an orange flag, and you'll have to watch the videos to know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say it. And then you've got people that are in power within our own nation, and they're backing them. Really? Really? You got to wonder then why Putin would turn around and say no to sitting down and talking. Well, why would he? Why would he sit down and talk? There's nothing to talk about. Not when it comes to that. He's dead set against it. I'm not going to blame Putin for this. This is something that could hurt us hugely. But when it's our own government doing it, where do you go with that? What do you do? If we could just keep our nose out of other foreign affairs, wouldn't that be a novel concept? But no,
Putin
we can't
warned
do
him
that.
to stay out.
Stay
Of,
out, and you know, the Ukraine is not part of NATO, so stay the heck out. It's not part of it. Never has been. And yet he keeps sticking his nose where it doesn't belong.
yeah.
So my greater concern really, as you mentioned, you know, there's been so many people let in and this, but prior to that, way prior to that, my concern has been for the last 9-10 months since I got this list, is more about sleeper cells than anything. And that's all it would take. It wouldn't take letting other people into the country because they're already here. They've been here for a while. They're part of the community. They've integrated themselves. And they're just waiting for whatever order. So if nothing happens, great, right? I'd love to be wrong.
I think
Truly,
we
love
all
to be
would.
wrong. But the list that I got from such a credible source that I don't believe I am. And it's just too hard to mentally think it through. And I think that's because I'm not meant to think it through. This is not who I am, right? This is not what I'm about. And it's when you try to be the better person, or a good person, you can't possibly think this through, because it just doesn't make sense why anybody would want to do something like this. But there is evil that lurks. That's all I'll say. And this has all been planned. So we try to do what we can in the meantime. And let people know. Try to get in the right positions at the right time, in the right places, and go from there. Because I don't know that you can do much more than that. None of us are in control of it. We're only in control of our own and what we do, our reaction to it, and how we handle it.
Someone said they heard yesterday they found China soldiers in the DUMBs. Tell me how scary that is. DUMBS? What's that?
I don't know. You got me on that one.
Hyacinth H. What's that mean?
So, the Eastern Seacoast makes
Underground tunnels. Oh, okay. So they found China soldiers in the underground tunnels. Okay.
Of where?
I don't know. Where? Underground military bases?
Where?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
United States or where?
In the US or deep underground military bases. So they have their own military bases underneath throughout the world and under the White House? Get the hell out of here. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not, unless I get something more specific on that, I'm not even going to discuss that. Not going to go into that. So anyway, there has been pretty big movement of tanks from Russia to the Ukraine to the border. I think I sent you that.
Yeah.
And it comes with video as well of the backup that has caused with people trying to get out of the Ukraine with their cars all in a line as the tanks are crossing. A lot of them. The last I saw of the tanks, they were on trains, like they would stack oil, but they were on trains to get to that location. And then the other day I saw the tanks coming across a field, and they're certainly under their own power and crossing into the Ukraine where people are trying to get out. They just want out. And surprisingly, they were being let out. I was surprised by that. I would have thought that they would have stopped people at the border and not let them out. But they weren't.
Stephanie said she saw a video of children being removed from the White House.
When was this?
I don't know. Steph, when was that?
I don't know of. Yeah, I don't know anything about that.
Neither do I.
So, like I said, when our own government is utilizing nukes or sending nukes off of the eastern seacoast, that is why the eastern seacoast area became a target. I don't think they
So, she
wanted
saw it
to be.
in March.
What?
She saw the video in March. If you can leave a link if you can still find it.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that. So, this whole thing. Like
Anything about what? Yes, Cynthia, and to the end of April.
What was that?
She said, how long do we have? You said the end of April, and I said, yeah, to the end of April.
Well, when I said the end of April, honestly, we were talking about finances and the economy. With regard to this, well, I wasn't thinking, things that go boom. I wasn't thinking that. We were talking about other things. This is just gonna make it all worse. Is that part of the plan to speed it up? Yeah, maybe. We all know that they're 4 years behind, right? Because the plan was to do this 4 years ago. But somebody else in the White House kind of,
yeah, foiled their plan.
Yeah, well, it didn't foil it, but it certainly made it slower. And it would have been 4 more had something else not happened. But it's still going to happen. And it's been foretold long ago. So this is not necessarily going to be better anytime soon. Somebody said to me, I don't know, probably in January, that they were hoping that 2021 would be better than 2020. And I just looked at them and I said, well, I sure do too. But from what I got,
2020 was like the movie trailer to 2021.
it was, yeah, as they say, it's the appetizer before the main course. Yeah, it's not good.
No.
None of it's good. And
so someone wants to know if you think anything is going to happen this weekend.
I don't know. I'll know it when I get it. When I get it, I'll send it to you. No, I don't know. I don't have anything as of right now. I don't have anything for today.
Right.
And I'm trying not to send you too much. I know I send you too much. So, I don't know what more to say about that. This is not good. None of this stuff. Who would have thought that they want us to go to war? Honestly, I thought they'd just be happy with collapsing the dollar. And that would be our war, right? But no, they got to speed it up, apparently. So, where do we go with that?
Oh, someone wants to know if you knew we were at DEFCON 3.
I can't answer stuff like that. Can't answer stuff like that.
Yeah.
I am going to have some more coffee, though.
Billy Boy needs to get the numbers down. Billy Boy needs to just stick to computers. And Joey Boy needs to put his helmet back on and stop licking the windows. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm going to shut up now.
No, but that was good. Well, so you did something in your last video that you wanted to talk about, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, this was something that you had brought to my attention, and I brought it to everyone else's attention. And I think that it's something that we should discuss about these new cell phones. So are these cell phones something that we already have in our possession, or is it something that's going to be distributed to us like the Obama phones were? If you were on food stamps, then here, have at it. Now all of your information is downloaded on this and it's free for you to use. There's a certain amount of this.
No,
is
it's not going to be an Obama phone or a Biden phone. No, it's not going to be that.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's going to be the new phone that everybody's going to want, right? Because they all want the new, the latest, the greatest, the updatest, right? They all want that. People change phones like some people change underwear. It's ridiculous. It's like, what's up with that? They change phones so frequently. Wow. No, it's not that way. But there is a reason why I have a litany of phones here now, and none of them are 5G.
Yeah.
So this comes with 5G, just so you know. So no, they probably won't all be iPhones, but absolutely that one and the updates that will come with it. So yeah.
So like the phone that Sean has right now would be one of them, but mine isn't because I don't have 5G. I'm still like 4G LTE when I leave the house.
Keep it that way. You got the same I got. Keep it that way.
Right.
Yeah, so even someday, at some point, there is a possibility that yours or mine could update. But really, they don't have fingerprint tracking technology in those phones, right? The ones that do, well, that's a sign that that's one of the phones. The other sign is that it's a 5G. And some of them have facial recognition in them as well. If they don't now, they will, because that'll come with an update. Some of them will have the iris identification technology. That also comes with an update. So each one of those with the biometric technology, it is meant to identify, right? Nobody else can use your phone, but also with it is front and back technology. So the camera will always be on, but the camera will be on in both ways to see you and to see where you are. And also to be able to do fingerprints when you're holding the phone front or back.
Right.
So unless you're holding it on the edges, it's always going to be able to identify you. So that's one way around it, holding it on the edges. But how long can you really do that? They made the phones so that when you're typing, you're using your finger, right? You're not using a stylus, which you used to use on some of the older technology. If you were using a stylus, well, that doesn't have your fingerprint.
Well, I have a stylus on my phone, but I never use it.
Well, that's a really good way around it. But that even isn't an issue on yours because you don't have the fingerprint technology anyway. But for anyone that does, if there's a way around it, the stylus would be the way to go. But still, You'll have facial recognition at some point as well. So just by being up near the phone, it's going to know. You know, these apps are made to track you, all of them, to track everything you do. As you mentioned before in a video, when you go to a store and then you come back home, it will say, hey, we noticed you were at, I don't know, I'm from New England, okay? So I'll say from Dunkin' Donuts, can you rate your experience there? Or at a bank, can you rate your experience there? Or you were at Walmart, can you rate your experience there? You don't have to tell the phone that you're there. They know because they track you everywhere you go. That's what they do. Cell phone is not your friend. We pay a lot of money to be tracked. And people use it because it's convenient. You and I talked about convenience, right?
Right.
So at some point, not too long, you will not be able to buy or sell unless you use your phone that has all the technology to be able to do that and identify you. And have the QR code, be able to scan it, and what we talked about before,
Right.
right here.
Right. Right
So,
hand.
yeah,
Would it be here or would it
yes.
be here? It would be on the outside.
As you went to use your card, it's right there.
So that's really the mark of the beast that everybody has feared for so long.
You got it. Yep.
So what we've all read in our Bibles growing up, if you've gone to Catholic school like I did for high school, and you read about that,
Yep.
that's where it's going to be.
That's where they say it's going to be. Some other people turn around and say, well, they believe it's going to be on your forehead. No, I don't believe it's going to be that. I think that's more of a scare tactic, technology driven.
It's not like how it is in the movies. Remember what that old movie from, what was it, the 70s or the 80s, The Omen, Damien, where he had it right here.
Right.
Not going to be anything like that.
I don't see any of that. I don't see any of that happening. One, because there would be too much opposition for it.
Right.
Even this, I'll be honest with you. I know somebody who's already at trial for it. It's sick and it's sad.
Shut the front door. Are you serious?
Yeah. You guys know them too, I'm sure. Fairly famous. And yeah. And the reason why they're like, well, their thought and their concept of it was, they're also investors in it. And I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming. Like they helped pay for it to happen. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, we need to have a discussion on that one, because you have no idea what you signed up for. And if you do, well, and I'm not so sure I really want to talk to you about that.
Spartacus, where are you? Right here. Figured that's why they started scanning foreheads for temps with temp guns only used in freezer and refrigerator trucks.
Yeah.
I believe we already have it. That's how we hold the phone. Oh, Adelia, really? Why you got to put my brain going in that direction?
What was that again?
I believe we already have it, and that's how we hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Well, if you're talking about a mark, no.
No?
No, no, it has nothing to do with that. No, this is, what people need to understand more than anything is to not take a mark. That is the most important thing you will ever know. And yeah, it's coming. And those of you that know about it all know why it's coming. And those that have it will be the ones that report the ones that don't, because that's what they do. They did it 100 years ago. Think about it. I've told you this before. The game doesn't change. Only the players in the game change. And that's what this is. This is 100 years ago, the Jews were hunted. They were hunted down. Anyone and everyone who lived in certain areas had to mandatorily report people that they knew about. If not, they were at risk as well. So people did it. And it's the same thing all over again with a different group. And it won't stop here. It's not just the United States, it's all over. This is a worldwide thing. Perhaps there's more of us in the United States, but that's just because of the freedoms that we have.
What freedoms?
Well, they are diminishing these days. Yes, they're going to diminish some more. But we have had it all along, and we can't say we haven't. So now, yeah, it's getting serious here.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah, exactly, Cyan. What freedom? What's that? I mean, look what happens to people like me who try and speak the truth.
Well, and you're talking to me about this too, right? And we were just saying that I could be put at risk for saying stuff, sure, but
Yeah.
I'm still here, right? And though that may happen, I just look at it and say, well, what am I going to do? Live in fear? No. What am I going to do? Shut up and not warn people when I know I could have? No. I'm not going to be silenced.
Right. And I don't want to be silenced either, but it's, if I want to keep getting the truth out there, and if I have to keep doing a tap dance every time, then you know what? Maybe next time I'll do the damn salsa so I can get the truth out. You know what I mean?
There are times to do that. And then the remainder of the times you won't have to, there are times to do that. And it's okay, because I think anybody that knows you at this point, who has listened or will listen in the future, will figure that out. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah. Yes,
yeah,
Stephanie, I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees. Thank you, girl. Yes. Yes. But sometimes I feel like I don't have a choice. You know what I mean? I hate to even think like that and speak like that, but it's the truth.
So, how long before something like that happens? I don't know. I want to be optimistic and say it's 10 to 20 years down the line, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not feeling that. I think if it's more than 4 years, I'll be shocked. And I'm talking about that little mark. I think it's going to be faster than we think. And time is of the essence for people to know and understand
Yeah.
what it's all about. And it's going to be extremely important for people to not take the mark. It's going to matter the most that you don't do that.
Right.
More than anything else.
All right. Now, getting back to like the banks and all, will this be happening soon or?
Are we talking about the regional banks with the list of the cities I just gave you? Yeah? No?
Yeah.
You know, it comes with the same thing that we were talking about with the Eastern Seaboard. It's that same time frame. Because it's all one and the same thing. It's all one and the same thing. It's not done by anyone but another foreign entity. So I don't have a time frame on it. When I get one, if I have one, I'll let you know. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know when I looked at both lists, I looked at it and said, wow, Boston's on both lists.
Yeah. Yeah. Proud mom. I'm sorry I got so upset in that video, but when you see a certain city on a list and you know that your child is in that city and you can't get to them because they're that far away and they're there for a reason. And the only thing you could think of to do is to write a letter. That's all I could possibly think of, you know? And I knew that they would get that letter within 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? That you know, as of right now, we're not even going to see Andrew until maybe November, with the exception of his graduation on May 28th. But other than that, that's it. If there's even going to be anything like that.
Yeah. So I was surprised to find out that 40,000 of our troops were sent to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Without the American people knowing about it.
Well, he's pulling them out by September 11th, and why he would pick that date, I don't know. That date needs to be left the hell alone.
Who told you that? Oh. So I was just surprised that they were sending people there. Why do it? Why? If he's trying to say that they're not supporting the Ukraine, why would you do it? The Ukraine is not part of NATO. The United States is part of NATO. Why would you send 40,000 of our troops to the Ukraine to defend a nation that isn't part of NATO? Why? I mean, I don't know about you, but I got to ask that question. So Why do it?
I don't know. None of this is making any sense.
It does if you're supporting them.
I don't know. Someone just asked them why did he pull warships away from the Ukraine? That none of this is making any sense. None of it.
Why did who pull warships away?
I'm guessing Biden. Did Biden pull away? I think he did, didn't he? Because he was warned to stay away from the foreign affairs when it came to Russia and Ukraine. He was warned by Putin, stay away, and he didn't listen.
He wasn't supposed to have them there, so I'm actually surprised to hear that he did have them there to pull away.
I don't know. Yeah, Biden. Yeah. Yep. I was right. Yeah, Biden.
I'd be interested to find out which warships were there.
Yeah, always follow the money. Yeah, Heidi.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Mr. Potato Head.
My personal
Terrible.
opinion,
Stop that. What?
my personal opinion on this, again, my personal opinion is that if there are things to cover up in the Ukraine, if
There was 2 ships. Okay.
which ship?
I don't know. I just saw there was 2 ships. That's it.
All right.
We're still under.
I'd love to pull it up on the maritime tracker and find out which ships they were.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'll look later. Anyway, where was I? Now I've lost my train of thought. Oh, as far as the Ukraine goes, if there's anything to cover up in the Ukraine, my personal opinion is if the Ukraine is leveled, wouldn't that cover everything?
Well, yeah, because of what happened with the sun. That's why.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So there would be nothing there to uncover or discover, right? And
Right.
I'm not saying that that's what they're doing. That's my opinion. But to risk our nation and our nation's people for it, that's pretty low. That's pretty low. No matter who you are. And yet they're doing it.
Yeah, this is an excuse to get involved in the war, Chris. You're right. It's ridiculous. We need to just stay the hell out of everybody else's affairs.
Yes, but
it's called making money. That's what that
yes,
is.
That's what I was just going to say. This is what they do. And I'm not talking just about our government. This is the shadow government. This is what they do. They make a lot of money by creating war type situations. And then what do we have to do as a nation? We have to plug all that money into that. And sure enough, probably the next stimulus that's going to have several $1 trillion more than what our previous one had, a big chunk of that is going to go towards it. And oh, geez, the other day, $650 billion the United States paid to the IMF just because. $650 billion. Poof, gone to the IMF.
Yeah.
And the next stimulus will have something major too.
Yeah. They make a lot of money off of us. That's what Mamaw just said. Yeah, they do.
They take a lot of money from us, and then they make a lot of money from us.
Yeah, they do. And then, at the expense of us losing our children to the enemy, because yeah, I don't even want to think about it.
Without even acknowledging the fact that they are the actual enemy, because they are. So an EMP does it all.
Yeah,
It really does.
unfortunately.
Except it doesn't. It doesn't, well, have the repercussions that a nuke has. It doesn't do all of that, right? So if you're not actually wanting to do that because you actually want to make sure that the ground is still good, then you wouldn't use that, would you? You'd use an EMP.
Marcy, now shame, because he's licking the windows. I'm sorry, I had to laugh.
That's all right.
No.
Hey, I got some questions from last week. You want to address them or no?
Oh yeah, let's get to those questions. Absolutely.
All right, these are totally off topic of what we were discussing, but I think I need a break from it.
Too
Over
much
the last couple, huh?
Someone just said too much lead paint. You guys are terrible. Stop it.
Over the last couple weeks, people have tossed in some questions to the chat, and I'm doing my best to kind of keep up with them and answer what we have. So there's, I don't know, half a dozen pages. Just to get off that topic for a few minutes because my gut is just screaming. Okay, Caribbean House. Well, this is kind of along the same lines, but I'll answer it anyway. Caribbean House asked, is well water safe from nuclear fallout? No. Because wells are fed from some source, right? What is the source for your well? Know what the source is, and then you'll have your answer. Because all wells have some source. If it's from groundwater, well, it'll be safe for a little bit, but not long. So I don't know that I got to it yet, and I apologize, but I will send you the link for the radon water filter. I was just too booked to do it, and I will get you that. I don't know that I wrote the person's name down. I think it's Val. If you have gold and silver, what is the best thing to do? I don't know if that means if you already have gold and silver, what's the next best thing to do? Or what is the best thing to do with your gold and silver? So I'm just going to say, hold on to them, keep them safe and secure. Other than that, food, water, security, housing, and build a community of people around you that are like-minded. Have 3 years worth of food and then concentrate on long-term food. Land, if you can afford it, to supply you with more food. Little Women Preppers. She's saying she got an inheritance, she got an inheritance as a retirement account and a bond. What does she do with them? If it were me, what I would do with them is turn them into physical gold and physical silver, because those retirement accounts really are just paper, and so are the bonds. They're still just paper. When the money is deflated, they go away. A little bit at a time, but they go away. And the bonds, well, technically the bonds could go up, but she didn't clarify what kind of bond. So right now I'm going to say that they would probably go down. I still think within a year they would go down no matter what. I would turn them into physical gold and physical silver, meaning you possess it, not have it somewhere at a bank or in someone else's vault. Samantha asked, with UBI at $2,000 a month and kids too, as a mother of 3, would I end up with $8,000 a month? And how can the government possibly afford that? Well, the question makes sense, but the answer is they can't afford that. And no, that's not correct. It's $2,000 a month. And then they have discussed, although they have not confirmed, $500 per child, not $2,000. So that is what's going to kill the dollar ultimately, is UBI. And the fact that we are forced to spend it. We can't save it. Right. They're trying to create money velocity, money flow. That's the whole point of it all. If you could save it, then it wouldn't do them any good to issue it. You have to spend it. So once we go digital, that's where it's going to hurt us. And that's where the hyper part of this all comes into play. Stephanie asked if I live in New York City. No, I don't even live in New York State. So, next question. Tealwood Classics asked, what will happen if life insurance policies with the sign here thumbprint comes into play? That's a good question. I don't have that answer, but I'll look it up for you. I have not had a chance yet. Spartacus asked if all of my coins are US mint. No, they're not. They're Canadian and US. James asked, would you cash in US Series 1 savings bonds that mature in 2030? And I can tell you, I'm not a bond gal. I would not even want to answer that question because I'm not as familiar with bonds as I should be to answer that question. So I'm going to stay away from that. Sorry. Lead by Example asked, is it better to buy US or Canadian silver, 1 ounce versus 0.999? And the answer is there's really no difference. You should only be paying for the actual weight of it. So whether it's 1 ounce or 0.999, you're only paying for what you're actually getting. Marie asked, she's saying that she has a 401k. Do I cash it in and pay penalties on the next tax return? My answer is yes. And then buy gold. 30% towards silver, 70% towards gold. She was also asking, do I buy land with a house? Well, if you want land and a house, yes. But I would say wait until after this housing bubble bursts, because it's going up. So in the meantime, put it into silver and gold, 30% on silver, 70% on gold. And when the gold price comes up enough to cover the cost of that land and house, that's when you buy it. Cash in the gold, do it then. Rosalie asked about being on a fixed income, being retired, has an IRA, no property, lives in an apartment currently. Does he take the distribution of the IRA and speed up prepping? Yes, because all of it will only get more expensive. So do it as soon as you can. There may be a penalty for doing that, but the truth is, whatever the penalty is, if you wait until later, those higher prices are probably going to be equal to, if not more, than what the penalty is. Sorry for having to answer it that way, but that's the best way I can say it. Lead by Example asked another question. When the government offers debt forgiveness with a thumbprint, and let me correct you on that, it's not the government that offers it, it's going to be the Federal Reserve, offers a debt forgiveness with a thumbprint, will that be like a reverse mortgage?
Those reverse mortgages are ridiculous, stupid ideas.
So my answer is no, because you can pay off a reverse mortgage. The thumbprint is a forever on your current assets and any future assets.
Right.
So another question also asked by Lead by Example was, will homeowners insurance still be available? My answer is yes and no. Yes, because if you are signing with your thumbprint, you can be certain that they are going to want you to cover that house that you are in.
Especially if you still have a mortgage on it.
Well, you won't have the mortgage anymore because you signed with your thumb, and chances are they're now extending your mortgage. But they may make you pay for their coverage on your house. So you may not be able to elect the coverage that you want, and you may not be able to afford the price they charge you. So yes, will it be available? And no, you won't be choosing it yourself, because why would they have you pay insurance on property that they now own? You're going to have to pay the bill they sent you. So there may be certain companies that they are affiliated with for that insurance, and they may say to you, okay, you can get it, but you got to get it through these companies. Maybe one or two companies, maybe three, who knows, but there may be a selection that they allow you to choose. But you can be certain, if they're telling you that there's certain ones, that they are getting a kickback on the money that you're paying for the insurance.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Missy, exactly. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Right. See, there is the easy part for me on this, because I already know their playbook. I kind of wish I didn't, but that's why we're here, right?
Right.
Beth asked, How do you remain positive with what's going on in our country right now? Add everything together that we've been talking about, and it certainly is difficult. As I said, you know, my gut's been burning for months and months about this now. So I would say surround yourself with like-minded people. The other people around you are just going to drag you down if they're not like-minded. Keep each other lifted up in prayer. Honestly, that's what we do. And it is needed more than I can possibly say. Southern Heart asked, is there any way to turn the path that we are on around? Well, I want to say yes, but I'm going to say no, because we're not the ones causing this issue, whether it be the stuff off in other nations or whether it be the stuff that is going on in our own nation with regard to the deflating of the dollar. That is our shadow government, aka the central banks, and I will blame them for it without fear of retribution. I don't care. Besides gold and silver, she was asking what else can be done. As I've said numerous times, have yourself stocked and prepped. After that, pay off what you can for the bills that you have. And gold and silver is then your best option, because those are the hedges against inflation. They are it. There is nothing else. I wish I could say there was, but there really is nothing else. And they are the best too, even if there was something else. I mean, there's gold, there's silver, there's palladium. Yeah, all the good metals, uranium, they're all awesome. But they're more difficult to get. They cost more, and there's less of a supply and less suppliers as well.
Right.
So I would say that those are your best options. Barbara asked, do you think it would make a difference to contact politicians to be able to stop or slow down the Great Reset? Well, you can try.
Yeah.
I can give you some phone numbers. But honestly, I'm not trying to make light of that. I am telling you, they're all in favor of it, and they're in favor of it for a reason. Mm-hmm. So, no. There's no difference that's going to be made by calling them about it. First off, the Federal Reserve cannot stop printing. They're not able to. Just like what happened in Venezuela, just like what happened in Greece, there's a lot of different examples other than us. And if you look back at them, you can see not only what is coming for us, but why it happened there. And then if you look at what's going on here, you can see how it all lines up. The steps are exactly the same. The only difference really is how long is it going to take to happen here?
Right.
I don't think it'll be much different than what happened with the time frame in Venezuela. It took about a year and a half. Maybe two, depending on if you're looking at it from the very beginning. So, you know, this hit us in 2020, right? We're in 2021. I said by the end of this year.
And you know, what's funny is my father even said the same thing, because he's just like you, and with the finances and, you know, banking, and he even, you know, was a real estate agent as well as the fire chief, you know, and stuff like that. So, and he even said the same thing. Prepare now, because by the end of this year, beginning of 2022, we're going to be worse than what the Great Depression was.
Right. Right. And I've said that, you know, by the end of this year, if our US dollar is worth 25 cents,
Right.
I'll be surprised. And I said that in a video, I think 1 or 2 videos ago. If our US dollar is worth more than 25 cents, I'll be shocked.
Right.
Now, you know, could be
And
30, but
Nan
I
just
doubt it.
said, well, how is this reset going to affect seniors on Social Security?
Well, I've also gone on record in a past video to say that disability, Social Security, unemployment, all of those programs that we currently have are going to be melded into one. And it's going to be called UBI. That's what it's going to be called. So it's all going to be one thing. So how is it going to be affected? Well, they're basically going to go away and you're going to get one amount of money. And that's it. So in the case of Social Security, if you're getting less than $2,000 a month currently, which many are, then you're going to get more money. If you're getting less than $2,000 a month, you're going to get more money. But the key to it is you're not going to be able to save any of it. It's all going to go in that one
money that you're getting. And
What?
people don't seem to understand. It's not actual money that you're getting. People don't seem to understand that.
Well, it's digital dollars. That is correct. So I'll correct that. It is digital dollars that will go in a Federal Reserve account. And those digital dollars need to be utilized to produce money flow, money velocity. And if you don't use it by a certain date, in other words, let's just say you got it on the 1st. If you don't use it by the time you get the next boost, your next 2,000, whatever the amount is, if you don't get it by then, you will only get the difference. So if you left $600 in there because you didn't spend it, you're only going to get 1,400.
Right.
So you've got to take it out, and yet you can't take it out in physical cash because they're only digital dollars. So you've got to spend it.
Right.
And you can only spend it if you're allowed to buy and sell. Right?
Yeah, that's the bitch right there. If you're allowed.
Yeah. And they're preparing us for that now. I mean, that's what they're getting ready for with this whole passport thing.
Sweet and spicy. Does that mean your health care will be free if they give free money? Well, sweet and spicy. Let's talk about that.
Well, that's what they do in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Universal basic health care.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about basic, man, if you get sick, forget it.
Exactly. It's not like what we have now. Like, you know, my health insurance, I have Blue Cross Blue Shield federal employee program because Sean's federal law enforcement. So, you know, it's not like I can walk into any doctor's office right now and I'm covered. You know, not going to be the same at all.
No, it won't be.
No.
And that's the sad part about it is
you're not going to have the same like HMO or PPO. Like, you know how you have the two different kinds of health insurance. We have HMO or PPO.
Right.
You know, no more. No more of having the option of having, you know, the name brand prescription or the, what is it, the knockoff, you know?
Yeah, the generics, yeah. Yeah. So that's it on the questions. I wanted to, for readers,
build your immunity as much as you possibly can. I have been doing that, and let me tell you, I've been around people who have had the COVID. I never once got sick. And that's because I take so many vitamins. I have literally built my immune system up so much. I don't get sick. I have not once gotten sick. Not even a
Yeah.
cough. My
And that's
allergies
what
are in my butt, but that's because I'm allergic to everything.
But that's what that RNA is all about, right? It's about
Yeah.
trying to change the ability for you to fight something off.
Yeah.
And
Dawn, there is no way to prep for not taking that mark, man. There's no
yeah,
way, I think.
yeah. You're either going to do it or you're not. And really, it's about letting people know about it, because most people, you know, I won't say most people, a lot of people haven't even heard about it.
Right
Or
on.
they think it's just an old wives' tale, old story, or whatever. It's not. I
Uh,
see. For the longest time, I didn't think I'd see it in my own lifetime, but wow, it's right around the corner.
Marbury wants to know if you will please reinstate the cities so she can post them, because everybody keeps asking for those cities again.
Why do you want to post them?
Yeah, she wants to post them. I guess other new people are coming in and they want to know what the cities are. Yeah. Yeah, just say no. Heidi, listen, if it could only be that easy.
All right. The
Yes,
list of
I
the
have elderberry seeds, but it's not for the bushes. It's for actual trees, because you could either do trees or bushes, and I got the tree seeds, and those bad boys get up to like 50 feet high. Because I didn't buy the ones for the bushes. I got the trees on accident. So I can't plant them. I don't know where to go. I might actually do a giveaway on my channel of all the seeds that I have. So, yeah.
there's an idea.
Yeah,
There's an idea.
I have seeds for apple trees and elderberry trees, because I bought all of these seeds and I thought, oh, elderberry bushes. Nope. Big mistake. I bought for trees. I can't plant them here. So
How tall did those get?
50 feet.
Oh,
Yep.
so they take a while.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so you want the cities again.
Yes.
The cities that the regional banks are in. Los Angeles, Las Vegas, Boston, Massachusetts, New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, Chicago, Miami, Houston, Texas, and San Francisco.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And some would also say Valdez, Alaska. And while we're here, for those of you that like to read, I've got 2 books for you. And before I give you the names of these, I will tell you, I am not affiliated. I get this all the time. Though I know one of the 2 people, I am not affiliated. I get nothing for doing this. I just think that they're really good, and I think people would benefit by reading them. This is one of them. And I don't know if you can read it because it is gold layered. So it is called The Case for Gold. It is by Jim Rickards. So I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So that is one. The other one, by Adam Beretta, is called The Great Devaluation. And both of these books go with everything that we're talking about. Everything. So, The Great Devaluation by Adam Beretta and The Case for New Gold by James Rickards. They don't come together, but they go together with regard to everything that we are talking about for what's coming and how to protect yourself with regard to finances coming up. You don't actually have to go online and buy these, by the way. They were sent to me for free. So I went on to Jim Rickard's website, and he has a little, what do you call it, a newsletter. If you sign up for the newsletter costs $7. Just sign up for it and you get a book free. Okay, $7, done. Not a reoccurring $7. That's it, just $7. So you get his newsletter and it comes to you every month, I think for 3 months. And then if you wanted to continue that, you could at whatever price it is. I didn't do that, but I got the book for $7 and his newsletter for 3 months. That's how I got it.
Okay.
And the great evaluation, all I did on that was, let me think here. I believe, and I'll have to double check this, but I believe when I went on to James Rickard's website, he recommends this book. And then when you go on to the website for this book under Adam Beretta, there's a phone number to talk to them about buying gold.
Oh.
And if you wanted to talk to them about that, you can, but they will turn around and send you this book for free. That's how I got it.
Nice.
That's how I do things. I really would have to read through it before I'm going to promote anything or do anything. And I wasn't doing it for that purpose. I was just doing it for myself at first. And then because I've been around in the gold market for a while and been around in the banks before, I can go through this book and go, yep, he's right about that. He's right about that. He's right about that. It goes into the history of gold as well as our nation with regard to money, and then the role of the Federal Reserve. I mean, it puts it right out there for you to see it all, and it's fantastically well written. So you can get it for $7, and the other one you get for free. So don't spend money by going onto the website or any other website and paying money for it when you can get it for free.
Okay, so real quick, Seabreeze wants, she said, please next week talk about whether or not the kids will have to get the mark. Do you want to address this now, or you want to wait until next week?
This is every human being.
All right.
It's it is. It's every human being. So they're starting with buying, right? So kids aren't purchasing stuff, but don't think that that wouldn't happen within the school systems, because it will. I mean, they're vaccinating kids within the school systems without the parents' permissions.
I know.
So don't think that they wouldn't. Now, with regard to that, that's how do they technically do that without the parents' permissions? I don't know. Will they? I'm sure they'll find a way. Yeah. Are they going to start with the kids? No. I doubt it very much. I just think the younger generation is going to go towards it easily because they're going to see it as, well, it's not a bad thing.
Right, Rebecca. It'll be required to go to school, either that or they'll dangle a carrot in front of the mom and dad's faces saying, well, if you want to continue to receive
or
such,
or the way to really get them with it is free college tuition.
Wouldn't that be just the smack in the face? Because not everyone can afford to send their
Right.
kid to college like I couldn't
Right.
afford it.
Right.
And we couldn't get the grant for it. That's why Andrew ended up going into the Marines, because he was promised a full ride to medical school.
Right. So you got the whole generations for that, right? Okay. Well, now you got free this, free that. And are we heading that way? You know, in our society, it's free this, it's free that. It has been. It's been working to that. And now it's even more check, 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 print, print, print. Yeah. Now they call it entitlements. What the heck? Where do people think that
No
they're
one's entitled
entitled?
to anything. You have to earn it. That's
Right.
what we were
Well,
taught when we were young.
I was hearing a commercial the other day while I was in the kitchen canning, and I was hearing this commercial that was in the background, and it just absolutely horrified me. I heard it come up at least 6 times within an hour. And it kept coming up, and I'm not going to say who. It was a famous person that was doing it, but I'm not going to say who it was. I'll say it was a male figure who is famous. And he kept saying that there's nothing wrong with getting what you're entitled to. Call this number and make sure you're getting everything that you're entitled to. It just kept going on and on about your entitlements, your entitlements, your entitlements. And I'm thinking to myself, first off, buddy, you are so rich, you wouldn't know anything about entitlements to begin with. And second of all, why are you pushing all these people to get entitlements,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
he's being paid to do that, of course, as a celebrity. He's being paid to do that. And I'm absolutely horrified that they're using famous people to push other people to get entitlements.
Yep.
But they're doing it, and they're doing it regularly. And to see that being pushed in front of them by way of either TV or radio, you're just force feeding into their brains. They're entitled, they're entitled, they're entitled.
Yeah. And yeah, Cyan, you're right. You know, you bust your butt to become debt free. And then you got someone who's promising to wipe away all student debt, when you have someone like my sister, just to say, who went through 8 years of college to get her doctorate in education.
Yeah.
Who is still paying on her school loans all this time.
Yeah. It took me years to pay mine off. Yeah. It took me years to pay mine off. I get it. Yeah.
And she went to Rutgers. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, Sean and I are still paying off things and trying to be debt free. Yeah, hard this is.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to pay off my house. It's not possible.
Yeah.
I owe $57,000 on my damn house. I can't pay that off. Oh, God's sakes.
I'll get you there. We'll get you there.
Trying so hard. You know, I'm just like every other hardworking American, you know, and you know what really hurts? I'll tell you what really hurts. Everyone knows, I have said this, I don't know how many times in videos, I am disabled. Yeah, I am. I have physical disabilities, okay? I can't collect disability. You want to know why? Because Sean makes too much money. He makes more than $1,800 a month. I was told, not just by the state of Florida, but by a lawyer, that if I wanted to collect disability, I have to divorce my husband of 25 years.
Yeah.
This is what I said.
Yeah.
No check, I don't care how much it is worth me leaving my husband of 25 years. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if I'm sorry if I offended anybody by doing that, okay? But don't offend me by telling me to leave my husband. Wrong with you.
You're not the first person that I've heard say that.
Okay, so this is my only outlet. If you want to say this is how I make a little bit of money. It's not much, but you know what? I've come to the realization that I don't care if I make any money off of this. I just want to get the truth out to every single person sitting with us right now. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And as long as I can do that, my
Yeah.
job is done.
Right. Well, speaking of which, last week I had asked people to like and share the video. And I wanted to say thank you because we were trying to get Autumn's channel from 6,700 to 7,000.
And we did.
And we have achieved that with a little bit extra. So thank you. Please like and share this video and any others if you can. I'd appreciate it. Autumn would appreciate it. If you like her, appreciate her, please do so. Our next goal is 7,300. So let's see if we can get her to 7,300, please. And again, this does generate something for her. It is needed. And also, you know, the donations are nice, but please just share the video. Get other people to share the video and like and subscribe. That helps the algorithm. That also subscribe helps her gain a little more with YouTube. So the more we can build it, the better off she'll be. And then the more well-informed you'll be because we have a lot more coming.
Especially when they keep screwing with me and telling me that they keep finding restrictions. I'm like, come on. What are you going to restrict me for this time?
So like and share the video, please. And we'll go from there. Give us any other topics. If there's anything you guys want to discuss.
Yeah.
Put it in the comment section, not in the live chat. The comment section is the part that I actually see. On my end, I only see the live chat afterward.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you can throw it in there too, but the comment section is the better spot.
Yeah.
So what else do we have for tonight? Anything?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So miss the mark, everybody, as it starts to approach. Don't go there. Just don't go there. If you have any questions about it, ask us. I will be as blunt and straightforward as you want me to be. Careful sometimes with what I say, but
yeah.
I'm not worried about what I say as far as offending anyone. If you ask, I will answer. So, and with regard to any other informative things with regard to what goes boom, we'll let you know. And anything other than that, buy silver for crying out loud. Just next week, if you get a spare $40, buy one. Just buy one. Buy one. Start there. And keep drinking coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end the live stream. Have a good night, everyone. I love you. Stay safe, stay positive, keep prepping. And as always, wait, what? The WAA, the city after San Francisco, Valdez, Alaska.
Yeah. What about it?
Marbury wanted to know. Valdez, Alaska.
Okay, why on Valdez? That's what you want to know?
I don't know. That's what Marbury was asking.
Okay, so the reason why Valdez, Alaska is on the list is because of the oil in the pipeline.
Ah, right on. Okay.
You know, if they wanted to hurt anything, well, wouldn't that send our gas price and oil prices through the roof?
Okay.
Or supply us with a whole lot less, right?
Right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Good night, everyone. Fearless.
Oh,
Bye.